Alright, what are we talking about, boys?
What is going down,
Well,
James?
Hey, this is James from Support the Scene, and I am here with the band Damsel. Can you introduce yourself?
Where's the camera, by the way?
No camera, just
no
all,
camera.
just
Come on,
all
this
the
is a visual
microphone.
act, James. What's going on here?
I'm Kyle. I'm the lead singer in Damsel.
My name's Kieran. I play guitar.
You gotta slow down on that Starbucks. You're just
man, I'm
you're just
buzzing.
getting paranoid with all the
buzzing.
cameras. Like, where's the cameras, man? So you guys have something cool happening. You guys have an EP. Now, why'd you wait so long before putting out some actual music?
Well, we did record demos right away, but after we got that out, just so we could get some shows, we thought it would be a good idea to take a little bit of time, play as much as we could, and really focus on building a sound that worked for all of us. And I think we did a good job of that. I think we got to a place where we were all comfortable with what we were playing, and we were all able to put something into it. So we got a good product.
Yeah, I think that because we waited and played so many shows over our first year, that there's actually a little bit of hype around it now. You know what I mean? Like they like our show now. They want to hear it on a record. You know what I mean?
Well, that's one of the things. A lot of people get a little ahead of themselves, and they put on this really big EP release show. I've seen too many EP releases at the Rickshaw,
Right.
where there's like 30 people, and that's why when Fallen did it, we did it at Pub 340, where we could have a good crowd, a good time, cheap entrance, have a lot of people out and have a good time. And it was about the celebration about releasing it.
Right.
And I think that's what you guys do with your shows all the time. It's always a good time when you go and see Damsel, and
Right.
And now being able to put that on something malleable and in a CD in an audio form will have people reminiscing when they hear the song. It's people are already. It's not like they have to learn the song; they've already heard it 110 times.
They're gonna go home and look for it right away.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Oh man, I remember I was like, the singer was doing this when they were playing this song, or it brings you back."
Yeah.
What records come to mind when you guys think about artists or records that really mean a lot to you? That a specific moment where you're like, "Oh man, I was at the dentist when I first heard this song," or something along that line.
Shoot. Can you think of any?
I will tell you right now without hesitation, Van Halen 1 is the greatest piece of music ever put together. Ever.
Do you remember the first time you heard it, though?
Oh man, first time I sat down and heard it, I was probably just walking around smoking a joint, and it's constructed like such a great show. And honestly, I learned a lot about putting a show together from that album. And
Well, that's one of the big things about albums like that and in that genre and in that area is those bands were playing 4 nights a week. They were honing their craft. They were out living that life.
Absolutely.
And
they were able to build an experience.
yeah, and so by the time a record producer got them in the studio and captured that, you really have that live essence built in.
And
Right.
this brings us right back to
Yeah, I think you can, you could lose your hearing and still enjoy a Damsel show. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever. You could only have your sense of smell, and somehow we would find a way to tingle it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think everyone.
trying to tell me?
Yeah. I think everyone has a fond memory of when they're in the front of the concert and you have that just smell of
That's right, yeah.
of the sweat and the beer.
The stale beer. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Coming back to the record, which personally is one of your favorite songs on the 3?
Wow, that's a tough question. You know what? Going in, I thought it was going to be Now We Are, and that's still a great song. It's kind of an emotional, more like rock, kind of poppy ballad thing. But I don't know, Last Call for Love. People who've never heard that song before will come to our show and they'll be banging their fists just yelling Last Call for Love because it's so simple, it's so easy, anyone can sing it. You don't need to be a great vocalist to just yell at the top of your lungs, Last Call for Love, you know what I mean? So that one to me, I'm looking forward to people hearing that, not just, in its whole, in its studio glory as opposed to just, in a live setting. It'll be nice when people can take that home and experience it, after the show too.
And it's just a hell of a good way to end the show.
It is, yeah. It's your last call, exactly.
I think probably 6-shooter because it's a lot of fun. It's got a bit of a different feel to it. It's got a neat identity, and I feel like a lot of people are going to enjoy that.
I think whenever I hear that song, the first word that comes to my head is swag. It's got a certain just sense of swag where you just like...
It's got a rhythm, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought greasy myself, but swag, greasy, whatever, filthy. Whatever you want.
Whatever the kids are calling it nowadays. Speaking of kids and whatnot, do you think your music will translate to both young and older people? You know, the people that are looking for the throwbacks, or do you think the fans of the new generation?
Well, I think music always kind of goes in cycles, and people who grew up on guitar-driven rock and roll music will love it because it's what they grew up on. And I think kids who are looking for something different, there's a lot of popular styles of music out there that have been popular for a while now, so I feel like people maybe are looking, kids in particular, young kids, we're that kind of band for kids, you know what I mean? We're young spirits, people who, it's about fun and loud guitars and things that, at least for myself when I was a kid, that I got obsessed with and got me really into, music, playing music, listening to music. Bands like what we do is kind of, I guess when I put this band together, it was kind of like, what would I have wanted to listen to when I was, growing up, discovering bands? And that's kind of, I think, what we've been trying to
And the music's fun, for God's sake. Like, I've gone to too many shows and gone home feeling like, oh, that was kind of depressing.
Yeah.
Like, let's get out and have a good time, for fuck's sake. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be into that once they realize it's still out there. And
it was a big thing for a while, the good times, and then of course, things changed and times got too much fun, kind of, and then things went in the other direction. But I think good time rock and roll music is definitely, I wouldn't say on a comeback because it never went anywhere, but I would say it's on
the upswing.
It's up on the upswing. It's becoming more popular again. For sure.
Well, I think that's true. I think a lot of, because metal is a good way of, when people finish their work day and they want to go vent and they want to go just scream at the air.
Right.
Good way to unwind.
And and nothing beats that thing going in a mosh pit in a thrash metal band and just letting out your aggression. But with the rock and roll, the nice thing about it is that you don't have to be angry. Not necessarily saying metal's angry, but you don't have to feel all that angst. You can come and you can feel like, oh man, it's been a long day, all I want is a nice beer and to raise my fist to the sky. And that's one of the things that you were saying with Last Call is you don't have to be a good singer in order to get into it, or shout the chorus, or to hear it once and have it get stuck in your head. And then like even now I'm having just the hardest time not trying to sing it because the minute you say it just comes right back in my head. And you're right, like having the people that want to come out and just have a good time. And the nice thing about it is the accessibility of it, is you can play in a rock bar or like a softer bar, and people will dig it and love it. Whereas some people that don't necessarily listen to a lot of that music, it's still accessible, it's still relatable, and they can get into it.
Absolutely, yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people who maybe don't even know about the music that we listened to growing up. Like, everybody knows Guns N' Roses, but not necessarily, but everybody does the deep dives that we do because we've always been into that kind of stuff. And the first time they see it, it's almost like they've been shown something that they needed that they didn't know they needed.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things too is that even with like the difference between like Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Lemmy's band, Motorhead,
blasphemy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Do it.
And like all these different sub feelings, because each band has their own different take on it.
Right.
And stacking you guys up against some of the other local rock bands around town, and
Yeah, we have our own flavor to it.
exactly. And even good friends of mine, Aviator Shade Boys, seeing them when they first came, and Vancouver was really longing for something to get behind that's not
Right.
straight metal kind of thing,
Or
and or straight indie, and they worked really hard at crafting what became their sound. And you guys have a sound and a stage show that tops, I think, like whenever anyone asks me, oh, James, I want to go out and see a good show, I'm like, well, if Damsel's playing, just go see
we
them.
appreciate that very much.
Yeah, and and the nice thing is, where do you guys find the balance between taking ourselves too seriously, or being professional, or just trying to have fun?
Well, it's always got to be a good time,
Yeah. And you can take fun seriously. You know what I mean? You understand you're doing people a service. They're coming after work to hear your band, to see your band, especially to enjoy themselves, to drink with their friends, to have a great time. And we as performers and as people who are they're buying the tickets. We owe it to these people, the fans, the friends, whatever you want to call it. We owe it to them to do our job to the fullest of our ability, and our job is simply to help them forget about their Monday to Friday 9 to 5 and enjoy that 1 hour that they get to that we get to hang out together. You know what I mean?
And it brings it back to what you said, like you could lose your hearing and still enjoy a Damsel show.
Yeah.
It's the music can't like, if you want the music to be secondary, it can be secondary, but you're still gonna have fun. We're gonna make sure of that.
One of the things that just popped in my head is that you're saying you're doing a service for people. You're really rescuing them,
Right?
And from things. So I want to see one day on a sticker. I was rescued by Damsel. Because
they're in distress.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because that's what it is. Like, people come and with the long hair, with the tight pants, with the high kicks, they can come and just be whatever they want to be for that little bit.
There's no judgment for that, in that bar or that venue or that club or that hour that we're on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that goes really strongly with what Support the Scene is trying to do here. We're trying to work with Pride and really work on bringing more of the LGBTQ Pride stuff.
Right.
Where it's not just about drag queens and
Gotcha.
and dancing, where you can celebrate Pride and a dirty, greasy rock and roll show.
Right.
And there's so many of the community that really that's dying for this, because they won't. They'll go to the parade, but there's nothing to do afterwards because they don't want to go clubbing.
Right. Because they don't feel comfortable, or
well, because half of them just wouldn't go clubbing on a normal day.
Right.
So what's like, well, why is the only Pride events going clubbing?
Right.
And we're really working hard on working with Pride to have, so it's Pride sponsored, but have some 340 shows, some Astoria, some heavy metal, some rock and roll,
right,
that kind of stuff, and still have it where it's in the Pride thing where they're helping us promote it. And then after the parade, it's like, cool, if you want to go dance, go dance. If you want to go see some sick bands, come to 340 and see some sick bands.
Absolutely. Can I ask you a question?
Totally.
Would you consider Rob Halford a gay icon?
Oh, with all the leather?
Yeah.
Totally.
So, build on that.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
and everybody listening to Judas Priest.
Yeah, right. And if with all the different communities around town and whatnot, and as being someone in the LGBTQ thing, I have been the most accepted in the metal and hard rock communities. The most, which to me I was always really nervous about. But everyone's been the most accepting here.
Right.
I remember being in the rock scene for a long time, and you had it was a little more competitive in the in the rock, especially when it was the media club. A lot of the old Granville Strip, there was this mentality of competitiveness with the bands, and I think Live Acts has done a good job at dispersing that.
Yeah, and it's it almost builds kind of like, we're all in this together mentality.
It's a good middleman to kind of spread things out and give people a shot,
Even, when you go on tour with a band, like, we get to know the guys we play with, and it's always a lot of fun. But even if beforehand you don't know somebody, after a couple Facebook conversations, you realize, like, if we're having troubles, they're having the same kind of shit going on,
Yeah.
Like, somebody drops out. That's happened to us before, well, don't worry about it. like.
Well, that's and that's the thing. Like, Vancouver needs to be a music community, and we all need to, because we're that's, as you said it perfectly. We're doing a service to fans,
right?
And if we're not united about it,
if the scene thrives, we all thrive.
Exactly. Cool. Well, thanks you guys for chatting with me, and hope you guys tell us about where and when the show is, and where we can get tickets and all that kind of good stuff.
Listen to the sound of my voice. May 11th at the Bourbon in Gastown, Vancouver. It's going to be show of the year. I want to see all your beautiful faces there. Get your tickets because they're going fast.
It's going to be a lot of fun, I promise.
Yeah.
But we got our music coming out on YouTube this week, so you can look out for that. And it's going to be up on Spotify at the end of the week to coincide with the show. So
join the party. We want to see you.
Come out and sing them with us.
Come say hi. Come hang out. Come sing along. Come dance.
I think I've seen you a bunch of times, and I can say each time has been thoroughly enjoyable.
Well, thank you, sir.
So we'll see you guys next time. Check out everything else on my channel. You can see an acoustic song of these guys coming up soon, and then go see them live. All right, see you guys later. Bye.
Woohoo!